Got a Panasonic camera? The DMW-DMS1 is the on-camera microphone that you've always dreamed of. With 32-bit float audio recording and 6 directional modes, this is easily one of the best and most versatile microphones that I have ever used. And in this video, I'm going to be reviewing it from the perspective of a wedding filmmaker that needs high-quality scratch audio, and as a YouTuber that occasionally vlogs. So if you want to record high-quality audio with your Panasonic camera and you want to keep a very small footprint, this review is for you. Also, for the sake of ethics, I want you to know this video is not paid or sponsored by Panasonic, but they did send me this microphone so I could make this review. Let's start with the build quality and size. And I didn't say this at the start of the video, but I have to tell you, this is one of the weirdest looking microphones that I have ever used. It really looks like Panasonic took their larger DMW XLR2 unit, got rid of the XLR inputs, slapped a weird spaceship-shaped mic capsule on top, and hit it all with a shrink ray. And I have to say, as weird as this thing looks, the mic capsule itself makes a lot of sense. This circular portion houses the omnidirectional mics, and then below it, where the capsule connects to the rest of the unit, this is actually a shock mount that can flex and move to get rid of any mic noise that would otherwise be caused by the capsule impacting the rest of the unit. I really like this shock mount setup better than how Sony handles many of their shock mounts on their camera microphones, where the entire microphone is mounted onto the shock capsule. And so if you're moving the camera too quickly or shaking it, the microphone can bump against itself and cause unwanted noise. Back to the overall design of this unit now. Did I mention that it's tiny? This thing is tiny, but they packed a ton of features into it. What you may not notice though until you put it on your camera is the improved hot shoe mount. Panasonic reworked the locking mechanism from the DMW XLR2, and it is now significantly better, less wobbly, and this whole microphone just feels more stable overall. And I'm hoping they go back and retrofit this locking mechanism to future versions of the DMW XLR2. Anyways though, that's not what you really care about. I'm sure you're wondering what all of these buttons and switches under the cover on the side do. And before we talk about these buttons and switches though, we have to talk about the quality of audio that this microphone can record, because it is a 32-bit float capable microphone system, and because it can record a much wider range of audio than a 24-bit system, this unlocks a lot of very cool features that this microphone is capable of that no other mic can do. Side note, if you don't know what a 32-bit float microphone system is or why it's such a big deal, if you pair this microphone with a camera capable of recording 32-bit float, like any of Panasonic's newer cameras, like the S1 II series or the GH7, you basically never have to worry about the audio that you record being too quiet or too loud, because if it's too quiet, you'll be able to raise up the audio levels a massive amount without introducing hiss or buzzing, etc. And in addition, it's very difficult to make the audio peak where it would be too loud and unrecoverable. So with 32-bit float, you have a lot more flexibility when recording audio, and the limitations of the volume that you'll be able to record are actually going to be dictated by the sound pressure levels that the microphone capsules themselves are capable of recording. And I have good news. Panasonic is using very high quality microphone capsules with this unit, capable of recording up to 120 decibels of sound pressure before they peak, meaning that you could basically put this microphone inside a jet engine and still be able to recover the audio, which is kind of wild. Of course though, I'm sure you are probably wondering about how the audio quality sounds with this microphone, and not necessarily how it will perform in a jet engine. So with that in mind, here is an audio quality test. This is a test of the Panasonic DMW-DMS microphone. It's currently mounted to the top of my camera with the directionality facing toward me. And so what you notice is as I go off here to the side, you're not going to be able to hear me nearly as clearly. And whenever I come back, suddenly you can hear me again. Now, remember how I said that the 32-bit float audio recording enabled a lot of cool features? Well, I want to turn your attention to all of the switches on the side of the microphone here. Up first, you have a gain switch, a gain knob, and a limit switch. And what you should know is that if you are recording in 32-bit float, this knob and switches don't matter at all and won't do anything, because the camera will set its audio levels automatically, and that is one less thing that you have to worry about because you are recording in 32-bit float. That is, unless unless you have this dial turned all the way down to 0, which if you do that, it will mute the microphone. So even if you're recording in 32-bit float, if you notice you don't see anything bouncing on your audio levels, make sure you check this dial and it is turned up. Just set it halfway. That way you're never worried about accidentally messing it up. In addition, if you were using an earlier Panasonic camera like an S5 II or S5 IIX, those do work with this microphone as well, but because they do not support 32-bit float, you will want to use this gain knob here to adjust your volume, as well as the limiter and gain switch. Next, remember how I was saying earlier that this microphone recording in 32-bit float enables a lot of cool features? Well, it's time to talk about one of them right now. Notice there is a switch on the side of the microphone here that says wind cut, and you have different strength levels for this switch, standard and high. And I'm sure you may be unimpressed so far because so many microphones over the years have included a wind cutout feature like this, where if you're filming outdoors on a very windy day, you can enable a switch like this to remove the wind noise and rumble and make the audio clearer. So what makes this Panasonic mic different? Well, that is all thanks to the 32-bit float tech, because whenever you combine that technology with the wind cut feature, Panasonic was able to make it dramatically better. With a normal non-32-bit float microphone, anytime you enable a wind cut feature, the microphone essentially removes some of the frequencies to cut out the wind, and it's a pretty blunt tool. There's not a lot of finesse there. It basically just lops out a big chunk of the frequencies. This has led to me not ever really recommending using the wind cut tool on most microphones. Instead, you can usually do a better job of removing wind noise in post. But because this microphone supports 32-bit float audio recording, that has essentially supercharged the wind cut capability, allowing this microphone to remove more of the wind noise while still preserving a lot of the audio that you would actually want to keep. So now it's time for a test. And I want you to know that for this test, the microphone does come with a dead cat wind muffler, which can also greatly help reduce wind noise. And this is something that's designed to essentially live permanently on your microphone, so it's on mine as well. It's now time for a wind noise cut test. So I have my trusty air blower right over here. Big boy, gonna be blowing. And I'm going to have the wind cut turned off first, and then we're gonna turn it on and see how it sounds. So, I'm gonna be a little bit loud here, prepare yourself. Not too bad. Gonna keep talking the entire time. So I'm gonna go over here so the microphone is actually in the way of the wind to simulate if you were filming on a very windy day. So, right about here, with it turned off, is where we are getting a ton of wind. I can see the wind muffler blowing a lot, and it's probably hard to hear what I'm saying. So now I'm gonna turn it on, and now, as you can hear, it is much easier to hear my voice as I'm speaking, which is really impressive. Great work, Panasonic. But we aren't done yet. We need to talk about the star of the show because, as I said earlier, this microphone has 6 directional beam forming microphone modes that it supports, as well as some secret features that you may not know about, but that literally make this microphone better than pretty much any other shotgun mic that I've ever used. Flip around the mic to the back, and here's where you access all of your directional modes. So unlike the ECM M1 from Sony, which has directional functionality similar to this one, but uses a dial to rotate, the DMW-DMS1 here has much easier to use soft touch buttons that will not shake the microphone as much if you want to change the directionality while you are mid-recording. Just press the button for the directionality that you want to enable, and the microphone will light up to indicate which setting is enabled. And side note, there is a setting in the camera menu to adjust the backlight brightness of these buttons because they can almost blind you. They are so bright. So I recommend setting it to low. Now, as far as directionality, you could have the microphone record in front of you in a narrow cone or in a slightly wider cone, which is great if you are vlogging. You could also have it record a little more or less than 180 degrees in front of you, or you can have it record from the rear or simultaneously from the rear and front. You've already heard how the mic sounds from the front, but here is a test with it set to record from the rear. I'm now behind the microphone with the directionality facing behind towards me. So as I'm walking here, you're going to be able to hear that the microphone is picking up me very clearly. As you can hear, the directionality is pretty great, but we're not done yet because now we need to talk about 2 hidden features in the menus that may blow your mind because they blew mine whenever I first saw them. Here's what's awesome. Because this microphone supports 4-channel 32-bit float audio recording through the hot shoe, Panasonic was able to unlock some very cool features. These features come in the form of 2 backup recording modes. One of these modes is not that surprising. It will essentially have the camera record 4 channels of audio, with channel 1 and 2 recording left and right audio, while channel 3 and 4 are also recording left and right audio at -20 decibels to help prevent peaking. That's cool, but not nearly as cool as the other mode, because with this mode, channel 1 will record left audio, channel 2 will record right audio, channel 3 will record all directions of audio at the same time, and channel 4 will record all of those directions as a -20 decibel safety track. This is really the ideal recording mode that I would be using essentially all of the time with this mic. You can literally set it to record this way, and you'll basically always have great sounding audio. With my Sony microphones like the ECM B1M that also support changing the directionality of the microphone, the issue with those is that you are stuck with recording whatever mode you choose. And I, for one, have lost track of the amount of times that I've been recording myself with a microphone, and then I wanted to record something with the camera while the microphone was facing away from me, so I changed the directionality to omnidirectional. I record what I want, and then I forget to change it back to directional, and the audio isn't nearly as clear, and it's just a big pain. Thankfully, what's great about this backup recording mode with the DMW-DMS1 is that this is no longer an issue. Set it to this mode and you never have to change a setting. It's recording 32-bit floats, so your levels are always going to sound great, and whenever you're editing later on, you have the flexibility to choose either directional or omnidirectional modes from one of your 4 tracks of audio. This is incredible for vlogging, but imagine you're also filming a wedding or a documentary, and you're filming someone speaking to the camera, but then another person walks up from the side and says something important. You would be in trouble if the mics weren't facing them, but because you have an omnidirectional backup mic recording on a different track, you can cut to that very easily. So if we're talking versatility, this feature easily makes this microphone one of the most versatile mics that you can buy today, especially whenever you consider that it supports 32-bit float, which Sony does not. And if you own a Panasonic camera and you've been looking for a shotgun microphone to mount to the hot shoe, this is easily the one to buy. And it may look a little weird, but the DMW-DMS1 packs the most functionality of any shotgun mic basically ever, and you are going to love using it. Speaking of things that you will love, you'll also love downloading my wedding filmmaker gear guide that's going to show you all the equipment that I recommend for wedding filmmaking. You can download this guide completely for free at the link in the video description. Thanks so much for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you loved it, and have a great day.